you made your first feature. What was that
Yeah.
like, putting that together and taking all of this and getting that? And then also I want to dive into your company and where you are now.
All of this is sort of happening around the same time. Like while I'm gaffing on that, I had met Helena, who's my wife now and my business partner, and we had started talking about making a movie together. We had all these ideas of what kind of movie we want to make together, and it came, and then it all came down to this idea of like, okay, I was like, well, we were about to go volunteer at the Ironman Canada in Penticton because I knew some friends, and I had competed in the Ironman. I had done the Ironman twice in my life, and I was a marathon runner and everything like that. So I was kind of in that world, and I thought I'd really love to make a movie like kind of about people in the triathlon world, people in the Ironman world. And Helena was game because she had we'd gone a couple of races together and we'd been volunteering at some races together. There was sort of an energy to being at the Ironman that was really cool. And we thought, okay, well, let's build a story around that. And it was just literally like we went camping and we just started talking about ideas about what this film could be. On the backside, I was like, okay, but I don't want to just like talk about this film and then it never happens. And so we kind of went the traditional route. We wrote a script, we built it together. We tried to do some crowdfunding to get started, which was good. It got us a couple of interested people in interested actors. It got us another production company who was interested in helping us make the film. But what was happening with that film was that it was getting to the point where like we initially entered into it with I was like, well, we could do this with we could just talk to triathletes and get them to play their own roles, almost like a mockumentary style film. They wouldn't be actors, but it's our first film, so it's okay. Like if we do something a little bit cool, a little bit fun, and we could do it basically with like a DSLR camera because the Canon 5D was out at that time, and it was like everybody. You knew you could make a movie now, and I was really inspired by those Ed Norton sort of like his style of films where it's like DSLR filmmaking. And I remember even working at Sanctuary, like Martin, we would go and get like some B-roll stuff sometimes, and he would just hand me his Canon 5D and say like, let's just shoot some like sky. And so I was like, okay, well, we can do that. But then we kept going down this road of like, getting pulled into this. Oh, this is a $2 million film. We should be doing this with stars and $5 million and all this other stuff. The budget kept going up because other people were kind of giving us lots and lots of good advice, well-intentioned advice, but I think also advice that kind of took away from the core of what we were trying to accomplish or what we thought we were trying to accomplish. Because it got to a point where, once we hit the $2 million level, we started getting those questions of like, well, do you guys insist on directing it? And I was like, well, yeah, we kind of want to direct it. And then they're like, but do you want to build a career? Or do you want to direct this film? Both, actually. I kind of want to do both. And Helena was the same way. We were both, because we wanted to co-direct it together. And we built this story out of this idea of a guy and a girl. And they both they split up at the beginning of the film, spoiler, and they both go their own paths. And then something happens at the end. The idea was that Helena was going to direct all of the female side of the film, and I was going to direct all of the male side of the film. And it works out to roughly about 50-50 of it. And then of course we would co-direct the scenes where they were together. That was our concept going into it. We were like, this is how we want to do it. But of course nobody's going to give us money to do that because that's a weird idea. And why would you do it that way? And we were like, well, we don't know. We don't know if it'll work, but that's kind of like, that's how we envisioned. We were sort of like we were kind of like fine tuning our relationship at the same time as trying to figure out how to do this kind of film. But we both had our own perspectives of how we could of what our side of the film should be. And we thought that was a really good way to approach it. And people just kept saying like, well, you could be the writers on the film and the producers on the film, but then we would find someone else to direct it. And we're like, well, yeah, that might work, but then it wouldn't be what we wanted it to be. We thought, after 2 or 3 years of kind of wasted time, which really it felt like really wasted time.
And
back
when
forth
was
and
this?
doing,
Like 2015, 2016
yeah.
ish?
So we finished the script in 2013, finished the first draft in 2013. We started down this process for about 2 years till about 2015. And then in 2016, like we literally just said that we were like, it's never going to happen if we don't just start. This movie is built around two sides of a story, the guy's side and the girl's side, and how they view, what the relationship meant to them, and also how they view what the steps forward are going to be. And we're like, okay, well, let's just start with one of the sides. We don't even have to worry about the other side right now. And so we found two really great people, Jeff Gonick and Jovi Burke, who are both actors. We auditioned for both roles. We found some amazing, amazing people to play these roles, but we basically said, okay, Jovi became our Cora, who's the lead female, and Jeff was her sort of romantic interest-ish. But I'll leave it at that. You can watch the film to find out. And we were like, okay, so what scenes could we film with just them? because they wanted to do it, and we had auditioned them, and we really loved them, and we thought that they were really good, right for the part.
You just dove in. You got your camera, you got the actors, and you just started shooting.
Just started shooting, and we knew that there was the Ironman triathlon. It was or there was a triathlon in Penticton happening. We went up to Penticton with them to the weekend of the race, and we filmed them in the village, and we filmed them at the race, and we got permission from the race to have Jovi put on a wetsuit and pretend like she was at the starting line of the race. And we got our director of photography, who was Sterling Bancroft, and we basically got a camera. We actually wound up getting we got a really good deal on an Arri Amira, which is like a documentary style camera, that a high end documentary style camera, but shoots like raw and 4K and everything like that. We decided we were going to shoot this as though we were like just a documentary crew filming her. We filmed the first day of the film in August of 2016. Then we didn't film another thing until December. The point of this is that, like, basically this film took us almost 2 years of filming to complete. The great part about it was that it was built around this idea of a breakup that leads to both characters going their own direction, and then the film ends a year later in story time. So we thought to ourselves, okay, we don't have to worry about continuity, because if the actors need to do other roles and cut their hair or change their hair, great, works for us. The timeline's built in the story, it doesn't really matter. And so we started framing this out. We're like, okay, so how can we shoot this with our own money? We had some crowdfunding money that we had collected. We did 3 crowdfunding campaigns. Each of them got us like 5,000 a piece at any given point. And then we applied to Telefilm, and Telefilm rejected us, of course. And we just started filming. So we filmed on that August, and then we filmed another day in December. Literally, like 2 days before, we saw that the weather report was going to snow really heavily that night. And we called up Jovi and said, "Could we do a running scene in the snow tomorrow morning, 5 a.m.?" And she was like, "Okay." Helene and I went to the store and bought like some running gear, like just like some gear that we were going to have her change into. So before anybody had even walked on the snow that day, that it was in December, like nobody's walked on the snow. It's perfect. We got her and us, the two of us, and a friend of ours to hold the camera. And for basically the morning until the sun came up, we shot. We drove around Burnaby, wherever we could drive that wasn't snowed over, and we would just get Jovi to run on a path with the snow in the background. And then so that was day 2. We didn't film another scene until February, and then we started to actually get legit and work on, like, we'd film 3 days here, 2 days here. We got more actors on board to take on the roles. We finally cast our lead actor, Cameron. I think we cast him like 2 or 3 weeks before his first scenes, but we'd already shot 4 days with Jovi before that. And then we shot their breakup scene on his first day on set.
This is all amazing, and it's really interesting to know that, like, it took you 2 years to shoot this movie, and the way you put it together was just, again, what we've been talking about on this podcast, just going for it and getting it done. And who cares if you don't exactly have all of the money? If you have a little bit of money, you can still start shooting some things. You can still try to figure out how to make some things happen, and that's really, really great. And